went on to win the Sacramento tournament right behind it. Hard times. Please welcome from the Republic of the Philippines, Dennis Orcollo. Varsity promotion. Thank you.
All right, we're ready to go. Dennis and Corey. And Scott has finished his announcements. They're about to lag. Scott just told you a little bit about Dennis Orcollo. I want to add a little bit to that. Dennis had one heck of a year in 2006. Like Scott said, it was his first trip to the States. And he started out in, actually, I believe it was March of last year. And he won the World Bar Table Championship in Oroville, California. About 6 or 8 weeks after that, Dennis goes to Reno, to the Sands, plays in the Reno Open and cuts through a 200-player field to knock that down. Goes down the hill to Hard Times in Sacramento, plays at the Hard Times Jamboree in the 9-ball division, snaps that off. Wins a qualifier to get on the IPT, gets his IPT card. And for the 2 IPT tournaments that were held, Dennis is in 4th place overall on the money list, having a 4th and 6th place finish or something of that nature. So in addition to all of those accomplishments,
we're going to need the next hotel because they're over there killing us. Thank you very much.
He just brought down a very productive promotion.
And following Dennis's 2 tournaments with the IPT, he goes over to Warsaw, Poland in October and is invited to play in the World Pool League Championship. That's an invitational only event. I believe there were 8 players in a round robin format, and Dennis came out on top of that as well. He beat Nils and Torsten and Ralph Souquet. Won himself $20,000. It's his first major international title. So not only can Dennis play, but you don't want to gamble with Dennis Orcollo, I'll tell you that. Dennis has a reputation. He's 27 years old, by the way. Dennis has a reputation at that young age of being the #1 money player in the Philippines. I'm not saying he's the best player in the Philippines, but the word is that he is the top money player in the Philippines. And watch this little man. Watch him break the balls. Powerful, powerful. Plays great cue ball control. Great 8-ball. And, of course, he's a rotation expert.
Sean, limited cue. Have you got the candy? Huh?
Look where the cue ball is, everybody. Squatted it right in the middle of the table. He unfortunately didn't make a ball. Looks like Corey, can't tell from my angle if he can get through there and make that one. I know he can hit it, but I don't know if he can actually make it.
5-0-1.
This is a race to 7. Doesn't take long. Derby City goes fast. You can lose the lag at Derby City and lose your match.
Kevin Hogue, the last 3 digits are 192. You can go to the Omega booth.
Corey kicked at the 1 ball. He made a legal hit, and it looks like he's going to get Dennis behind the 8.
Kevin Hogue.
And this shouldn't be too tough of a hit, but I don't know if he's got enough angle to actually make the ball. It'd probably be a little bit easier if he wasn't jacked up over the 9. Watch Dennis's fundamentals as you watch this match. I'm sorry we've only got the 1 camera going for you right now, and depending on where Dennis is standing, you'll get a good view of him. He's, I'd say Dennis is probably about 5'5", probably goes about 110, 15 pounds. But he's a powerhouse, let me tell you. And he has great touch, great touch. We're playing cue ball fouls only here, so if Dennis happens to accidentally graze that 9 ball, as long as it doesn't affect the outcome of the shot, it won't be a foul, and Corey would have the option to restore the ball. No, you must jump with your playing cue, Dennis. Sorry about that. I'm kind of doing double duty here, and they wanted a clarification on jump shots. And Dennis wanted to know if he could use a jump cue, and I had to tell him he could not. Jump cues are not allowed at the Derby City Classic, and if you want to jump a ball, you may, but you must jump with your playing cue. You cannot jump with your break cue, and you cannot change the configuration of your playing cue to simply jump with a shaft or a smaller portion of it. So Dennis went ahead and kicked at the ball, got a good roll, and let's see what Corey does. Like I said, it's cue ball fouls only, 3 foul rules in effect. Scratch on the break is the first of the 3 fouls. Pro Express, no ball spot except for the 9. Any foul is ball in hand. And it's pretty much that simple. Corey made a nice solid hit on the 1 ball, and looks like he's going to get a reward for it. No. No, Dennis is open. He can make that, or he can choose to play the 9. The 1 ball does go. I'm sitting right behind that corner pocket up here in the booth, and I can see that there is enough room either to go in clean or off the 9. The 2's, it looks open, but that 5 is huge, and he's got to get around the 4 ball if he chooses to follow the 1. He may snap draw it, try to get back in the middle. He may shoot the 9. He's got several ways you can go here. Let's see what he does. Yeah, I knew that was going to get him. He looks hooked. He might get a piece of it on the right side, but he sure can't pocket the ball. And I don't know about you guys out there, but every now and then I do like to see games like this. I mean, yeah, I love run out pool too, as you do, but I don't want to see a guy put 5 in a row. I mean, let's see his knowledge. Well, he got the kissy, and Corey's got an open shot. It looks like he'll just hit it with a little high ball and come 2 rails behind the 3, play the 3 in the lower right-hand pocket. And that's exactly what he's done. This table plays a little bit quicker than the tables out in the main arena, and that's due to the Accustats lights in the crowd. It's probably a good 10 degrees warmer over here than it is in the rest of the playing area. So, and I don't know, I think Corey's played on this table once before tonight, this week, and I think Dennis has too, so they probably got a pretty good feel for it. These diamond tables play so good. I mean, the banks are true. We're playing on 4.5-inch pockets. Tour Blue Simonis. I mean, the playing conditions are superb. Now, they're using the measle cue ball here on this table. But that's the only table we're using it on. We're using the regular Aramith ball that comes with the Super Aramith sets out in the main floor. But we use the measle ball on TV. But I like to see a little bit of strategy in the 9 ball and see some of the kicks. And of course, all these guys are such artists with the cue. You pretty much sometimes you've got to shoot, but. I like to see that safety battle. Once again, for those of you who just joined us, you're watching a live 9-ball action from the Chalk-Off Arena here in Louisville, Kentucky at the 2007 Derby City Classic. Welcome, everyone. My name's Ken Schumann, and we'll be with you for probably what's going to be one of the finest one-pocket matches you could have ever imagined coming up here at 9 o'clock, the one-pocket final, Efren Reyes and Cliff Joyner.
A new line of X-break teams.
I think that is not good, folks. I can't believe he did that.
Can't do it.
Well, maybe from up here, maybe it's further out. I couldn't tell. I guess wow. That 9 just was deceiving from where I sit. All right, Corey Deuel leads 1-0. This is a race to 7.
The X-breaker break jump cue built especially for Charles Bryant, the hillbilly, by X-breaker. It's a beautiful cue.
Got a quick second here before Corey breaks. Let me give you a little update on the straight pool challenge.
Shannon Murphy.
What we had here was a two-day event where you could put up $100 and take three or four or five whacks at running as many balls as you could in straight pool. And the top 8 high runs of the last 2 days were going to come back today and compete in the finals, and that's going on right now. But leading up to that, we had a high run of 151. I want to tell you who had the high run. You may be a little bit surprised. This man is certainly a quality professional pool player. He just participated in his first Moscone Cup action. He's won the Reno Open. He's won a ton of regional events on the East Coast, and he's no stranger now to professional pool. None other than Mr. Mike Davis. Mike Davis, 151. In second place for the straight pool high run was Ralph Souquet, 137. Johnny Archer, 129. Mika, 127. And I'll give you the last 4 in a second. Let's watch Corey break. Now, you do have to attempt an open break here at the Derby City Classic. Corey's using, of course, a little bit of a softer break, but he does attempt to break them open, and that was legal. But you can't super soft break them here. And looks like they've spread quite well. And he's either got to power this one rail to come over, or he's going to play at 3 rails and play the 2 up here under the pocket where he's standing, because I don't think he can do anything else. Yeah, that's what he chose to do. And that's going to be a little fast. He's all right. Kind of come over and back about where he is now for the 3 in the side. Well, I think he was trying to, I don't know if that goes in the side. I think he's going to play it in the corner here. Yeah, he's playing it up here in the corner. And he'll just miss the 4 and come back out into the middle. And he undercut it because he was worried about the cue ball running into the 4 ball. He's trying to get the 3 ball a little full, and he just caught it a tad too full. And these diamonds are not forgiving when you hit it at that angle into the point. Watch Dennis's follow through. See where that tip was? That thing was 8 inches through the cue ball. Perfect stroke. Stays down, doesn't move. Watch his head. That kiss off the 8 helped him there. He was going right at the 5 ball, and now he's got the right angle to float down here for the 7. And sure Dennis is going to be out here, and we'll be looking at 1-1. Dennis is married, and he's got 2 young children. I think he recently had they had their 2nd child within the last year or so. And we're going to look at 1-1 here. Race to 7. It's rack your own. And let's see what. Oh yeah, let's get back to the straight pool. So anyway, going up to today, Davis led with 151, CK 137, Archer 129, Mika had 127. John Schmidt, Mr. 400, the best he could muster up was a 97. Dennis, who's racking the balls right now, came in with a 93. Danny Harriman, who had a run in the 130s last year, topped out at 85, as did the Korean Dragon, Charlie Williams. Now, those guys came back today, and those top 8, and they got 5 attempts to run as many balls as they could today, and the winner, of course, would be the high run. Before I came up, being here into the booth to do this match, I was able to get scores from 4 of the competitors. And Archer, the best he could do today was a 56. John Schmidt, he got topped out at a 71. I'll tell you how tough it is on some of these guys. Dennis had 5 attempts. The most he could run was 28 balls. And let's see who's the last participant that has gone so far. It was Charlie Williams today, and he came in with a 67. So Mike Davis, Suke, Mika still to go. Harriman was at the table when I came up here, so I don't know if he's finished all his attempts. And we'll get you updated on that during the 9 o'clock one pocket final. Right in the hole. Wow. Well, I'd sure like to come to the table with ball in hand on this layout. I think all he's got to figure out here is how he wants to get from the 3 to the 5. So that means, where do I want to be on the 2 after I shoot the 1, so I can get good on the 3 to get to the 5. And just like everybody that's played a lot of 9-ball, you usually play them in groups of 3s. So where do I need to be on the 2 to get on the 3 to get on the 5? And what would you do here, folks? Little inside right, stay on the rail and play the 3 in the long corner, or I think he's coming to the center of the table. Sure, that's much easier to do. Pretty hard to mess up the shape. And unless you get straight in there, you're going to be able to come over and get the desired angle on the 5. Somewhere near straight in would be okay, so he can just float down and play the 7 in the side. Follow the middle of the table, 8 stop, 9, and it's going to be 2 to 1. And I did all that without a telestrator. Now, see, even a top pro like Corey, he wanted to make sure he knew exactly what spot he wanted that cue ball to stop. And rather than just say, well, okay, I think I know, he went down there, he picked his actual position, and he executed it perfectly. And that's something that maybe the non-professional player tends to not do often enough, is playing just an area for position instead of picking a particular spot. Most of the teachers will tell you, and I don't claim to be one, but I was taught this way, that if you pick a spot to put the cue ball on and you don't get to it, well, you still might be okay. But if you don't pick a spot, you can never get to it. Corey leads 2 to 1. I'd say the arena here is about 2/3 full, and more folks are coming in. There's always a crowd wherever Efren is, and I don't know if he's out there in the main area playing his 9-ball match. If he was, we'd know it. I'll tell you just a little bit about Efren's popularity and just how revered, for lack of a better word, he is in the pool world and in the world itself. Yesterday afternoon, in between matches, Efren's hanging out in the hallway, and he's playing chess. Now, for those of you that don't know, Efren is a world-class chess player. I'm not saying he's Bobby Fischer, but Efren's a world-class chess player. So anyway, he's out there playing chess. There's a crowd 6 deep around him, watching him play chess. I'm telling you, I have to admit it, I stood there for 20 minutes myself. And I'm not even a chess player. And you know, there isn't a more down-to-earth guy. I mean, Efren, he'll stop, he'll talk to anybody, give an autograph here and there. He's a man of the people, and he's a world figure. And we're all real fortunate to be alive to be able to see that man play pool. Am I an Efren fan? Nah. Well, the 1 was going in the corner, it got kicked out. Dennis is safe, but I bet he's happy to be at the table anyway. I know he's not happy with himself for scratching on the break in that last game. But I was fortunate enough when Dennis first came over last year to referee and direct a couple of the events that he played in for the first time. Got to know him a little bit, and have gotten to know him a little bit more at the IPT, and of course at the U.S. Open and the Reno Open. Dennis wasn't at the U.S. Open, I don't believe, but nevertheless, I'm a Dennis Orcollo fan. He's and that's not just because he's a world-class pool player. He's a world-class kid, and I really like him. And if you ever get a chance to meet him and say hi, you won't be disappointed. Dennis is going to push out. He's done so. And he probably was pushing out to kick behind that 5. And from where I sit, I don't know if he can get deep enough in there without twisting it a little bit. And I think he's going to get it back. Oh, maybe not. Corey looks like he wants to shoot. Corey is a master of this shot. How's that? That's it. I agree. Great shot. Yeah, you might say he got a lucky kick, but he hit it good. It's just like when you're hooked, you know. If you're hooked behind a ball and you kick and you hit the ball, more times than not, something good happens. And you might think it's luck, but good players kick to a certain portion of the ball. They know what's going to happen after they make contact, and it's not always as fortunate as it appears. But if you hit the ball you're aiming at, good things happen. All right, well, he's got to get the angle on the 5 where he can just send that cue ball between the 7 and the 9 to come 2 rails out for the 6. There's plenty of room to do it, but he's still got to put that cue ball right in the middle of the table. And it looks like it's just about fine. Just a touch of low left here, just barely missed the 7 ball, and there's several, the 6 goes in all 6 pockets, so as long as you're not on top of it, he's going to be just fine. Well, I might have the wrong angle here, but I tell you, I think he might just float it forward a foot, and he can shoot the 7 right through the 8 and 9 window, or he's going to go down the end rail and play the 7 over here this way. Yeah, that's what I thought he's going to do.
Keith Bennett and Karabasis, table number 31 upstairs.
And the advantage to that, even though the 7 might be a little bit harder from here than it would have been if he went up and down, is he takes all the risk out of the shot, and he's moved the cue ball the least amount of distance necessary. And the lesser amount that you have to move that cue ball, the better chance you have to leave yourself in proper position. And also notice when these guys are playing, too, that very rarely will they run into another ball unless it's absolutely necessary. You just don't want to do that in just about any game unless it's intentional to help you break out a shot or avoid a cluster. All right, it's 3-1 Corey. It's a race to 7, and Dennis has asked Corey if he can take a couple of minutes and go to the restroom, and that's what he's doing. Corey can continue to shoot if he chooses to. But a lot of people don't know that if your opponent takes a break and you still are at the table most of the time, you are permitted to continue to shoot. And in some events you need to have an official there while you do so, and in other events you don't. And the premise behind that is that if your opponent trusts you to leave the table, then he should trust you to play with integrity, as everybody here would anyway. And let's see, what else can I tell you guys? Upcoming events, don't have the exact date in front of me, but I know it's within the week after we finish up here, so sometime next week up at JOB Billiards in Nashville, Tennessee. Scott Smith will be directing that event. That's been going on for a number of years up there, bar box action. And usually has a really good field. The end of January out on the West Coast, for those of you who are out there and are familiar with this event, is the annual Jay Swanson Memorial in San Diego. I think that's the around the 25th, 26th weekend of January. Always draws a strong field of West Coast players. Coming up in Reno, Nevada on the 28th of February through March 4th is the U.S. Bar Table Championships. That will have an 8-ball and a 9-ball division. That was sponsored also by Diamond Billiard Products and played on 7-foot Diamond Smart bar box tables. 10,000 added to each division there, 5,000 bonus if you win both events, 125 entry fee for each division. And we have flyers here about that, and you can also find out about that by going online to sandsregency.com or AZ Billiards and any of the tournament information. Corey Brooks started him open pretty good and came out with a easy shot on the 1. And there doesn't seem to be a whole lot to this rack. He made the 6 on the break, so straight in on the 5, anywhere on straight in on the 5 gets him to the 7, 8, 9. So all he's really got to do here is figure out what he wants to do with the 4 ball. And now this is a preference shot here. I mean, you get anywhere on the 4, you're going to be on the 5. So you know, some guys like 3 rails around and play it in the corner, and some like just to come that way. And I think he was trying to play it in the same pocket that he was just played the 3 ball in. This is kind of okay, but you know, it's a thin cut in the corner, and that means the cue ball's going to come to the other side of the 8 and 9. I think he's going to draw it with some low left and come between the 5 and the 7. Sure. And that's pretty tough to mess up there if you hit it with the right speed, as you could see Corey do. And again, a preference situation here. Which pocket do you want to play the 8 in, and do you want to have the outer angle on the 7 or the cutback angle? And this is just either probably 2 rails around with a little bit of high right, or he can draw it back with low left and play the 8 in the same pocket. I think he'll go forward here. He might even go 1 rail. Sure. Now, in a shot like this, you don't even have to draw it to the rail. You can just draw it about 4 inches behind the 9 ball. Sure. No need to draw to the rail and out on that. And it's 4-1. And if you recall, it was Corey won the first game, Dennis won the second game. It was 1-1. Dennis was breaking. He broke, and the cue ball went right in the side pocket. And since then, the only thing Dennis has had to look at is a kick shot. He kicked at the 1, hit it, left it open for Corey, and he hasn't shot since. I mean, it's brutal. You know, miss, you lose. Now Dennis is going to look at the rack. Corey's made a ball every time. Well, no, he didn't make a ball one time, but he left Dennis safe. And we all know Corey is the master of the soft break. He is hitting them with a legal speed here, but he sure ain't pounding them. Now, I can tell you, I know Dennis Orcollo, and this is not a shark move on his part. He's legitimately thinking that the balls aren't frozen or they're just not properly positioned. And he's not doing this to upset Corey or get in his head or anything. I would really think that he just sincerely did not like the way that rack was prepared. But on the other hand, he's a pool player. You're watching live 9-ball from the Derby City Classic here in Louisville, Kentucky. My name's Ken Schumann. We're coming to you from the Chalk-Off Arena at the Executive West Hotel in Louisville. And I'd like to also just take a quick second to say our thanks to the hospitality of everybody here at the Executive West. They've treated us fabulously. Once again, putting up with 1,500 pool players is a challenge for anybody, and they've done it marvelously, and we really appreciate it. I do see a huge crowd out in the main arena, and that means Efren is playing, and sure enough, he is playing his 9-ball match out there on table 6. I don't know his opponent, but Efren is at the table, and I'm going to try to see the score. It looks like 4-1, but I'm not really positive from my position here if that's the right table. I think it's 4-1. Corey's still trying to rack the balls.
You're asking me to rack them where they don't need threes. They need threes.
And he's,
Well, if I don't rack them higher, they'll one flies off. What do you want me to do?
Corey's not getting them where Dennis wants, and Dennis don't like them where Corey put them. And if I have to, I will go down there and employ my duties as a tournament official. But Corey has agreed to let Dennis rack them, which is permissible here. Dennis goes bang, bang. There they are. No problem. And Corey says, that's fine with me. Now, if Corey doesn't make a ball on the break, or he scratches, or something funny happens, you can be sure he's not going to let Dennis rack him again. And now if Corey makes 2 on the break and comes out with perfect shape, Dennis is going to say to himself, how could I rack like that? Corner ball went right in. 1 ball went right in. And Dennis got a bit of a break there because the 2's tough. I don't think it kisses off the 8 in the side. It might, but the 8 looks a little high. I can't believe Corey would take a cross-side bank at this. But I don't know. The monitor shows it might go off the 8, but from where I'm sitting, that looks like that 8 is pretty far out. I don't think he's going to bank it because you've got to let the cue ball go. Let's see what he does. He did bank it. And how they rolling, Corey? Once again, no shot for Dennis. That's the second time Corey's missed and left Dennis safe. And that's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, it's 9 ball, you know? Now, under rules that some people would prefer to see, right here, Dennis would have the option to make Corey shoot again. But that's not what we're playing here. This is gunslinger territory, fast and loose. He's going to try to spin that 2 ball right in the hole. No. Well, I can't tell if the 4 will pass the 8. Corey's got a problem with the 2 anyway, but whether the 4 goes or not might have something to do, have a bearing on what Corey wants to do here. He could take a bank at the 2. And come around 3 rails if the 4 goes. You have to come underneath the 5 and the 6 to do that. Or he can just put the cue ball over on the other side and break them up at the same time. And that's a great shot. Corey got a lot out of that shot. He accomplished hooking Dennis, and he also accomplished opening up the 4 and the 8 ball. And once again, Dennis is kicking for the 3rd consecutive inning. Dennis needs a roll to get back in the match. Dennis needs a roll. Well, Corey can hit the 2. I don't know what he can do with it, but he can hit it. But I don't think he can hit the right side of it. I think he's got to hit the left side of the 2 ball, unless he wants to try to back kick it. I don't know. That's what he did. All right, there's the roll Dennis needed. Once again, now we don't know if the 4 goes because the 7 came back in the path there. Now the 4 does not go in the corner. It does go in the long corner down where Dennis is standing. So if he wants to try to do that, boy, he's going to have to miss the 5 ball, coming 2 rails off of this shot with a touch of left, a touch of right, maybe not much right at all. Hit it with a flat ball and just hit short of the 5. And even if he kisses the 5 a little bit, he might be okay. But he doesn't want to have a shot on the 4 where he's got to come in contact with the 7, because then he'll knock the 7 in front of the 8. He needs to hit the 5. Oh, that was well done. That was really well done. It looks like he can probably make the 4, and even if he grazes the 7, he might be able to hit it soft enough to not put the 7 in front of the 8. I don't think he can play this in the side. I think it's just too severe. He'd like to. Maybe so, yeah. I think he's playing it in the side. There's not much pocket there. Wow, see, but it sounded a little like a miscue. I know you couldn't hear it too well, but it did sound a tad like a miscue. Nevertheless, evidently he couldn't play it in the corner. He was going to be too thick on the 7, and he would have knocked the 7 in front of the 8 unless he wanted to just pop it real hard. And I think he was afraid of letting the cue ball go. So now what? I don't know if he can get the cue ball behind the 7-8. I think it's going to put the 5 behind the 7-8, the cue ball over on this side. A little bit of left. Uh-oh. That cue ball needs to go, or Corey's going to have a clean shot in the 5. Could tell by Dennis's expression he is not happy. Even if Corey can make this, he may have to hit the cue ball with some low right to spin the 5 in, and if he does that, he's going towards the 8 ball with the cue ball. The 6 is not in an easy position based on the angle he's got on the 5. You really can't play safe. If he can make the 5, I think you're going to see him hit it with a firm draw stroke and try to draw off the 8 and get into the center of the table with the cue ball. No? Well, he tried to stop right there, and I think he let it go, and I think he's hooked himself on the 6 ball. Yeah, he's hooked. I mean, it's an easy hit. He can do a little twist, or he can kick it from the back. I mean, he's got a lot of ways to hit the ball, but I think he wanted to stay right there and then cut the 6 to his left into that far left corner pocket. That was what he was attempting to do. It looks like he's going to go 1 rail right at it. And this is a good choice, because if he happens to make it or make it cross, he's going to have something on the 7. If that doesn't get there, that's going to be a sellout. All right, another opportunity for Dennis. He looks like he's a... Sorry, I had to go away for a second there and get out of the booth. And Corey was letting me know that he accidentally had hit the 7 ball with his stick as he was kicking at the 6 ball. And I just confirmed to him that that's no foul. It's a cue ball foul only, because the movement of the 7 had no effect on the outcome of the shot. And Dennis elected to leave the 7 where it was. And Dennis is going to get a game back and close the gap. It's 4-2. He got the break that he needed desperately. If he went down 5-1, the way Corey's breaking, it might not have been too easy to come back. But at 4-2 Dennis breaking, it's pretty well even from here. And the break's going to be real important here, so let's see what he's doing. One pocket action coming up for you at 9 o'clock. The Derby City One Pocket Division Final. Bata himself, the magician, Efren Reyes, and Cliff Joyner. I mean, you couldn't request a better one-pocket match than that. You get arguably the greatest player to ever play pool in any discipline in Efren Reyes, and you have arguably one of the top. And I don't think this is a stretch at all to say that Cliff Joyner is probably one of the top 10 one-pocket players in the world. Forget about whether it's money or a tournament or whatever. He may even be higher than that, but I'll tell you, if you like one hole, you want to be in front of your computer at 9 o'clock. Efren has a rebuy. Cliff doesn't. If Efren wins the first set, race to 3, he is the one-pocket division champion. If Cliff were to win, Efren would rebuy and they would play a second set. All right, Dennis has to control the cue ball here. That's his first priority. He has, I don't recall if he broke from the other side and he's changed, but I think he has. He needs something good to happen here. Yeah, well, one dribbled into the side, the 2 dribbled in. Well, what do? You cut it up the long corner, do you bank it, or do you play safe and put it behind the 7 ball? Those are your 3 choices here. And I know Dennis wants to shoot. And I bet he'd probably be a 80% make, maybe 85% make if he was going to shoot the one in the corner. But he's got to feel comfortable with it. I don't think the cross side is on, so he's either going to cut this in the corner and come over and back once or twice. He gets anywhere good on the 3. Well, the 3's, excuse me, I thought the 4 was the 5. The 3's next to the 4. So if he's going to shoot the one in the corner, he's got to get good enough on the 3 ball to do something with that 4. And I think he's probably got a much higher percentage of putting Corey behind the 7. Maybe he's trying to decide just what he wants to do with the 1, but he's sighting it down the long corner. I know he wants to shoot, so let's see what he does. You can make the ball about 90% of the time, and you can do the safe probably 100% of the time. What are you going to do? I don't think he wants to let Corey back to the table. I think he's shooting. No, maybe not. That's no good. Yeah, you know, I know Dennis was concerned about making sure he had a good angle on the 3, where he was going to have a pretty easy time getting on the 4. And I think that was on his mind. He was worried about hitting the 6 coming across, so that's a big miss, depending on whether Corey can capitalize. We'll see how they're doing. He's good now. He can just spin off the 4. He'll knock the 4 off the rail a tad, and be pretty well straight in on the 5. And you can probably just stop right there, and then he'll play the 5 and draw back to get straight in on the 6. Go to the bottom rail for the 7, and should be over. He might not like where the 9 is. I think he's just got to hit this a little fat and spin it, and he'll be fine. There you go. Well, you know, I know he didn't want to be there, because now he's got to go over and back. And he's got to use some left if he's going to go over and back, because the 8's a pretty big ball. He's got to get all the way back to the same rail the 6 is on, and he's got to get below the 2nd diamond. Wow. That was well executed. Well executed. It had a little bit more room between the 7 and the 8 than it looked like from up here. Well, Dennis made the decision to shoot that one ball, and it's going to put him in a hole. And it's very easy to sit up here and second guess. I really think, you know, Dennis is a very aggressive player, and I think he just knew that if he could make the one and get on the 3, he was out. It would be 4-3 and him breaking, and he could turn the momentum around. Corey leads 5-2, race to 7. And now let's see if Dennis is going to inspect the rack. And last rack, remember, when it was Corey's break, Dennis fidgeted for a while with Corey, and finally Corey said, Dennis, you rack. Dennis racked, Corey broke, the corner ball went right in, the one ball went right in. You're watching live 9-ball action from the Derby City Classic in Louisville, Kentucky. Sponsored by Chalk Off, the BCA Pool League, Diamond Billiard Products, Simonis Cloth, Aramuth Belgian Billiard Balls, the Club Rack, and the Spider Laser Training Aid. You can purchase any of these products by going to the Billiard Club Pro Shop at billiardclub.net. And the Billiard Club Network and AccuStats Video Productions is presenting you this live 9-ball action from the Chalk Off Arena. We're at the Executive West Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky. It's Thursday, I think, and about 7:15 Eastern Time. 9 o'clock, one pocket action final. Rays and Joyner. You could scalp tickets for that for $300. And you guys get to see it right in the comfort of your home because you're watching Billiard Club 10. No. No. You know, Corey liked the way Dennis racked him the last time. He made 2 balls. So he's decided to let Dennis rack him again. Corey just got up to slide over his bead. I know you guys can't see the score wire. It's behind Dennis, but it is 5-2. And, what do you guys look at when you inspect a rack? Are you looking for a gap everywhere? Are you looking for a gap on a particular ball? Are you looking at the 2 behind the 9? I always wanted to ask people what they look at when they go look and inspect the rack. Now, Corey hit those a lot firmer than he's hit any other break in this set. And how are they rolling, Corey? The 1 kissed the 2 in. Is laying right in front of the hole. 5's in front of the hole. The only issue here is the 5 to the 6. And that might take just a tad of maneuvering because I don't think Corey wants to get the angle on the 5 where he's going to knock the 9 out of the way and shoot the 6 in the long corner. But maybe he does. We talked earlier about not wanting to go into balls if you don't have to, but sometime you do have to. Now, if he were to get close to the 5 and straight in, he could just draw out and probably shoot the 6 in the corner and stop because he wants to shoot the 7 probably down by the other end of the table, down by the head end of the table because the 8's down there. Well, he's quite a ways from the 5 ball, which leads me to believe that he might just use a little center left on this and just come out around where the 9 ball is. That's exactly what he did. And I think you'll see him shoot the 6 and essentially stop the cue ball right there. It may wind up on the rail or just a tad off, and shoot the 7 in the long corner. Wow. We didn't expect that, did we? That's a huge break for Dennis, because I mean, Corey's out there. He makes that ball. He's on the hill break, and then 6-2. This could be Dennis's last gasp, and I'm not trying to say that Dennis is playing bad. He really isn't. He just hasn't had a whole lot to shoot at. Yeah, he missed that 1-1 ball last rack, but he kind of felt he had to shoot. Now, this isn't that easy because the 7 doesn't go by the 9. And if you try to come around 3 rails on this, you could jaw it. I think he's going to suck it back with some low left. He's just got to watch that side pocket. If he gets by the side pocket, he'll be fine. Oh, he hit it good. On a shot like that, what a lot of the guys do, of course, is they're going to hit a little fuller on the object ball and let the spin throw it in. That gives them a little fatter angle coming into the rail, which will bring him back long where he wanted to be. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow. Now, I'm really surprised he played that way. He played that with a forced follow, and he did have the angle to simply stun it to the center of the bottom rail, or he even could have used some low right. Not second guessing, not trying to say I would have done this different. It just seems so natural to do that, but it's tough out there. Sometimes your decision making is what's going to get you in trouble or not your execution. And Dennis absolutely has to shoot this. He cannot. I don't think he can play safe. I think he's got to shoot this. I know he doesn't want him. The bridge. But where are you going to duck? If he tries to shave it on the left side and come 2 rails up here, he's still got to use the bridge. And trying to make this with the bridge is not pretty. Not a pretty thought, anyway. He doesn't have a bank. I mean, he could hit it on the left side and just put it up here on the top rail. I think that's what he's got to do, unless he's trying to really thin it. But Dennis he's got good eyes. Yeah, he hit it good. That's real good speed right there. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, they should clap for that. I think Corey's going to cross it back up to the middle diamond on the top rail. No? Wow. My gosh. Well, the rolls have certainly evened out, or the breaks. Early in the set, remember Corey, every time he missed, Dennis was kicking. Now Corey has missed 2 shots that he probably won't miss again for 5 years. Missed that 6 ball, and then he played just a pretty lackluster safe attempt there. Even if the speed Corey hit it, I'm wondering what he was trying to do. Unless he was just trying to put it on the rail and leave Dennis no bank and no shot in the corner. Big swing there. It's 5-3. Dennis is breaking. Now it's getting exciting. Now we got stuff to talk about. Yeah. Also want to just remind everybody again that if you'd like to purchase tonight's One Pocket Final, that's going to be available through AccuStats Video Productions in about 4 weeks, as will all the other matches that we've taped here on the TV table here in the Chalk-Off Arena. About 3 or 4 weeks from the conclusion of the event, Pat will have all that stuff ready for you, and you can visit AccuStats.com or call 800-828-0397, and Pat, Pete, and everybody get that stuff right out to you right away. Let's see, I see Johnny Archer playing 9-ball out there on table number 3. Efren finished his match, and I'm going to take a wild guess that he won. I really don't know. Oh, wait a minute, maybe he didn't. I apologize. I see Efren is still sitting out there, so that match is still in progress. I try to get you a score. It looks like it's 6-3 or 6-2 or something like that in Efren's match. I don't know who he's playing or who's ahead, but again, I'll take a wild guess that Efren's leading. Well, Corey looked at the rack, and Dennis is looking at his own rack. All right, Dennis has switched sides. He was on the other side so far for all 4 of his breaks. So he's definitely switched sides now. And I think this is the side where he broke the first rack and put the cue ball right in the middle of the table. And he's breaking from where Corey broke from. Look where the cue ball is, folks. Dennis is going to need a roll, and he didn't get one. Cue ball parked right in the middle of the table. No balls touching. And the 2 goes in the side. I think it goes by the 3. I'm not sure about that. And this might be the game shot here. Although, no good. I wonder if Corey's a little rattled from missing that 6 ball a couple of games ago when he should have been on the hill at 6-2. Remember he was shooting a 6 ball down there in the long corner? Okay, I just want to, I think I can give you a quick update on Efren's match. I see Efren's racking, so his opponent just won a game. I think it's 6-5 Efren. I'll try to keep you updated on that. It's a little hard for me to see, but I can see the scorekeeper. And let's get back to Dennis here. I mean, this shot isn't routine, but I think his dilemma here is getting on the 2 ball. I don't think the 2 passes the 3. It does pass the 6 in the side. To try to get there is really kind of flirting with danger. It looks like he's cueing with low inside. I wonder if he's going 3 rails. That was the shot. That was a well thought out shot. Now look at what he did. He gave himself a chance to make the ball and get on the 2, where he'd have several pockets. And at the same time, he hit it with a speed that he didn't sell out. So let's see. I'll tell you. Corey has his body language has changed in the last couple of racks. He's moving a little bit slower. His head's down a little bit, and I think he knows he might have let an opportunity to put Dennis away, get away, missing that 6 ball. Oh, that's got to go. That's got to go. Well, he's there, but he's got some work to do. Now he's got to dig down, I think, and come 2 rails out around the 3. He wanted to be straight in on the 2. So I think he's got enough of the 2 ball where that's not going to be too difficult for him. But now he's got to get good enough on the 3 to be able to get in between the 4 and the 5, because they're pretty much on the same rail. And he's done that perfectly. He's got a perfect angle now to come 1 rail out, and I don't think he'll come too near the side pocket here. And that's just fine. He can pop out. Any angle on the 5 works. I think he'll like to be kind of in the center a little bit here. There he goes. And now he just needs to kind of drag this back so he's got the angle on the 6 to, well, maybe go into the middle diamond there and shoot the 7 in the same pocket as the 5. And once again, he's executed that well. Pay attention to Dennis's cue ball control from here on in. He's, well, sure, I go and say that, and he does that. Come on, Dennis, you're making me look bad. I think now what? Left-handed or behind the back? This is the match if he doesn't make this ball. Now, this is no picnic here. This is no picnic here. These side pockets are narrow. Of course, remember he cut one. He made a 4-ball on the other side 4 or 5 racks ago with a more severe angle. So I know he's confident, and all he's got to do is make the ball. The shape's automatic. Okay, we're going to have a 5-4 ball game with Dennis breaking. Corey leads. All right, we got a match. 20 minutes ago, it was 5-2. Dennis couldn't get a roll. Corey had a road map, and he missed the 6-ball. The only thing Corey's had to shoot since then was that safety on the 8 after Dennis shot the 8 with the bridge and laid it real thin and came back up here, and then Corey played that bad safe on the 8, and he hasn't been out of his chair since. So it's a pretty fine line between winning and losing, especially with this level of competition and in such a short race. You know, if we're going to 11 here, Corey's not going to be all that worried right now. He's still going to think, well, okay, you know, there's a long way to go. He may never shoot again. Well, you know. All right. Remember last rack, Dennis broke and he squatted that cue ball right in the middle of the table. So let's see if he can execute that again. He cannot afford to scratch here. Absolutely can't scratch. Well, he hit him. He got the 1 ball. All right. Well, what's your choice? Bank it cross side, come 3 rails for the 3, or you play safe? Now remember last time Dennis was faced with this decision on the 1 ball when he cut it down the long corner and he missed it, and we were talking about he could have executed a safety behind the 7 ball almost 100% of the time. And Corey got out that game. I wonder if that's on his mind now and it's going to affect or impact his decision. Now this is a routine bank shot with you know, pretty automatic position. The 3 to the 4 is a little tricky, but once again, Dennis wants to shoot. But on these kind of shots where you're banking like this and you got to come out to the center of the table for the 3, if you don't make the ball, you're probably going to sell out the game. But I think he's banking it, and I think he's going to make it. Well, good news and bad news. Well, because he undercut the 2 ball, his cue ball wound up behind the 7. Had he cut the 2 enough to make it, he would not have been hooked. The good news is he's still at the table. The bad news is he's got a tough kick here. Not as far as hitting the ball, but what's going to happen after contact. If he wants to go 3 rails behind it, he's got to hit it with a good speed And he's got to hit it on the left side of the 3 so the cue ball stays here. Maybe even the 5 will stop the cue ball. All right, well, this is the first clean open shot Corey's had since he missed that 6 ball. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts and if he can come with it. It's a little bit funny. Probably about a center ball with a little bit of left, and I think he can get around the 9. He may just be drawn straight over. Well, the 4 does not go by the 6 on the side. The combination's tough. I think he's got to play the 4 in the corner. What do you think, folks? Is he off his game a little bit? He sure is. Corey Deuel doesn't miss stuff like this with this regularity in a short set. And I still got to believe he's upset with himself from before. Now, he had a tough shot on the 3 ball. He got all out of it that he could, and he didn't have the easiest shot on the 4, but you got to expect Corey to make that. And Dennis has the perfect angle on the 6. He'll just pop out about 5-6 inches to his right. Stop, come back. Back of 4 or 5 inches, maybe 6. Okay. He doesn't want to hit the 9 here. Okay, he's straight in on the 8. He can draw without hitting the 9, I believe. And if he has to hit the 9, he'll kiss it just enough, and his draw will bring him back, and he'll be okay. He might not hit it at all. There we go. And we get a 5-5 match. We get a race to 2 here. I mean, Corey was whiskers away from on the hill and breaking, and he's in a survival contest right now. He's just hoping he gets another shot. Now remember, the last 2 times Dennis broke from this side over here, from Dennis's right as you're looking at the screen. He's made a ball both times and put the cue ball in the middle of the table. Hasn't come out with a great shot, but he's been able to play a safe, or at least in the last rack, remember he banked the 2 ball and it went 2 rails, and then he was safe and kicked the 3. So you got to kind of figure he's going to do well on the break, and then we'll just have to see how they lay. You're watching live 9-ball action from the Derby City Classic in Louisville, Kentucky. My name's Ken Schumann. Welcome to everybody. And for those of you that have just joined us, have we got something for you at 9 o'clock live on BCN TV and on AccuStats Video Productions. We've got the 1 Pocket Division Final. Efren the Magician himself and Cliff Joyner. Efren has a buyback. Cliff does not. If Efren wins the first match, first set, race to 3, he is the 1 Pocket Division champion. If Cliff wins, they'll play another set. Don't miss it. I'm not going to miss it. Dennis went back to the other side. I'm surprised. Let's see what happens. He made the corner ball. He's got a shot on the 1. Let's see. The 2 goes by the 9. The 3's hanging in the jaws. I think he made the 4 on the break. And if he did, yeah, he made the 4 on the break. So the 3 to the 5 is looks like the set, the shot for the key to this game. Now, this is a little tricky. A lot of guys like to go low right here and come around 2 rails, but if you do that, you're messing with the 5 ball. You're messing with getting straight in on the 2. Yeah, I think he might just come 1 rail with a touch of inside here. Come up and hit the top rail and bounce off. And pretty hard to get a bad angle on the 2 if you do that. That's exactly what he did. So you can hit that ball with a speed that you're very comfortable with. You don't need much inside there, maybe a quarter of a tip. And as long as you hit this top rail, you've got a 3-foot area for the cue ball to stop, where you're still going to have a shot on the 2, and the 3 is in the jaws. So Dennis made the right decision there. He played it the right way. He took all the risk out of the shot. Took the corner pocket out of the shot on a 2-rail scratch, and he's trying to decide now just where he wants to be on the 3 to get fairly straight in on the 5. He probably wants to be somewhere near the 7 ball to shoot the 5. Now he wants to go forward with high here, but he might hit the 9. So I think he's just going to pop it off, or maybe draw it 2 rails out to the middle. Wow, risky, but I mean, he's okay. And this is the key shot here. I mean, this could be for the match, because if he gets on the 5, he should be out, and then he's on the hill breaking. So a simple little shot, like a 3 ball hanging in the jaws, could be the match. This looks to me like maybe just a little bit above center with a touch of left, and a little thin on the 3, and try to go to the center of the table, or towards the 7 ball. Perfect. Oh, did he hit it good. Now he can get either angle he wants on the 6. He does not want to be straight in on the 6. I mean, that works, but he can't quite. I don't think he can hold the cue ball on the rail there and have the reverse angle on the 6. But he might. He might just kill it. Yeah, he's okay. I've got a different angle from up here, but he could stop there. The 7 goes in the corner by the 9 ball. And I think that might be the shot. Right, yeah, sure. You don't want to mess with drawing that back 3 inches to try to get it in the side. This is so natural. He can just punch this over. He just doesn't want to get straight in on the 8. Dennis is going to be on the hill. And ever since Corey missed that 6 ball, he has made 1 ball. He made the 3 ball in the last game, and then he missed the 4. So from 5-2 down, Dennis has won 4 racks in a row. And Corey is just praying that he gets another turn. I know about you, but if I'm playing a match and my opponent's on the hill, of course, the first thought I'm having in my mind is, well, he's going to snap it in. And the guy that's on the hill is afraid he's going to scratch on the break. We love pool. We love pool. It's made a mental midget out of more people than any sport I ever know. This match could end pretty quickly, so I'm going to do as best I can real quick here to give you one last rundown on what's been going on here all week until we get back to you with the one pocket match at 9 o'clock. Bank pool division, we started with 469 players. Stevie Moore from Atlanta came out on top. Efren was second. Rodolfo Luat was third. And going into the one pocket division, Stevie Moore led in the all-around and Efren was second. One pocket division, we started out with 416 players. Last night we played down to the final 6, which were Efren, Francisco, Jason Miller, Cliff Joyner, Mike Davis, and Mike Serber. Those guys came back at 11 this morning. Efren drew Bustamante, took care of him, and Bustamante bought back. Jason Miller lost to Joyner. Serber beat Davis. We shuffled them up and drew again. There were 4 guys left. Efren and Joyner and Bustamante and Serber. We redrew. Efren drew Bustamante a second time and beat him in 15 minutes. Joyner took about 3 hours and finally prevailed over Mike Serber. So that leaves us with our one-pocket final. The magician himself against one-pocket legend Cliff Joyner. I'm telling you, you just don't want to miss it. Looks like you're going to get yourself a little break between the end of this match and the one-pocket match at 9 o'clock, so you'll have a chance to recharge your batteries and get comfortable, put your one-pocket hat on, get out your notepad, whatever you want to do, and enjoy some of the finest pool in the world. I'd say we've got about a 80% full arena here at the Chalk-Off Arena. And you're watching live 9-ball from the Derby City Classic on Billiard Club TV. All right, this is Dennis's last break. He cannot afford to scratch, or he may not go back to the table. Let's see if he takes a little off or he goes all out. He whacked him. He controlled the cue ball nicely. And they're still rolling for Dennis. He didn't make a ball. Corey might have a piece of the one ball, but he can't do much with it. And Corey's going to take a break, and I don't blame him. He's got to go kind of have a talk with himself or something. And Dennis is taking a break too. So gives me an opportunity to maybe catch you guys up on some stuff. I was rushing through this before Dennis broke that, so this gives me a little bit of time to get you caught up. We were talking about the one pocket and how we led up to the Efren Cliff Joyner final coming up here at 9 o'clock. I'll let you know that the Bustamante finished third, Serber was fourth, Jason Miller and Mike Davis fifth, sixth in the one pocket. When I came up here about 6:30 to do the match you're watching now in the 9-ball division, we started out with 400 players in the 9-ball division. We were in the middle of round 3 when we started this match. This is a round 3 match, and around 6 o'clock tonight we had 190 players left in the 9-ball event. Everybody will play again tonight in 9-ball, and that round 4 is scheduled to begin somewhere around 8:30. So a good deal of that will be going on while you're enjoying the one pocket final, and we hope, depending on how long the one pocket final goes, that we might be able to get you another 9-ball match on here after that. Efren has to play another 9-ball match.
Okay, we got a gospel trick shot show.
And so does Cliff.
Billiards room. We're going to give away another free cue stick. And we're going to start in about 10 minutes. Come on over to Robin's booth next to the AZ room. We're giving away a free cue stick.
Oh, you know, there's something else I have neglected to let you guys know about. And although I don't have any information on it, because I just haven't been able to get out of here very much to go see what's going on, but we got 3 cushion action here as well. We got three heated Gabriel tables here, and we've got USBA action. I don't know the format. I think it was a qualifier. But I'm not positive, and I'll try to get that information if I'm back with you following the one pocket match. But we got that going on. We got pool vendors galore here. You name them, they're here. Some of the finest cue collections and custom cues here. All kinds of pool. Well, old Pots and Pans is down there trying to liven up the crowd, and we got a serious match going on here, and he's doing stand-up. If you guys don't know who Pots and Pans is, if you've been around a pool tournament and seen a guy walking around who looks like Charlie Chaplin, that's him. That's old Pots and Pans. And okay, Dennis is back, and Corey just walked back into the arena. And it's 6-5 Dennis. This is a race to 7. Dennis broke the balls, didn't make anything, left Corey where you see him. So Corey's going to decide what he wants to do, shoot or push. And let's see if Corey kind of perked himself up here, or he's still going to struggle. It's tough to come back from stuff like that. I mean, we've all been there. You know, you have an opportunity and you miss a ball that you're not supposed to miss, or you shouldn't miss. The hard part of that is forgetting about it. And you know, I can't get into Corey's head, but just from observation, it seemed like he let it affect him. Maybe he's got something else on his mind. Maybe he's not feeling well. It's hard to say. But it certainly completely turned the match around when he was in total control at 5-2. And I don't know what he's doing there. It looked like he might not even have had a plan. And he thinks he just seems disinterested.
It's going to be 8:30.
And he got a bit of a roll. Dennis cannot cut this in the corner, I don't believe. And he certainly isn't going to try to cut it in the side. So this is a little tricky. He may thin it and try to get 2 rails behind the 5, 6, 7. He can't bank it. This is touchy. Let's see what he does. He cannot cut it in the side. He cannot cut it in the corner. I can see that clearly. It doesn't bank cross side. It doesn't bank cross corner. He can't push out. He's got to shoot. He's looking at maybe kicking into the rail, and I'm just not sure what he's doing here. I still think maybe he's going to try to put the 1 behind the 5, 6. That's exactly what he did, but he's going to let Corey shoot at it. Now this is no piece of cake either. Making the 1 ball's not hard, but the 2's down on the bottom, bottom side of the table. He's got to negotiate the 8 ball to get on the 2. And I think he played that. There is no question that he played that 9 ball, but he was rewarded for a well thought out shot. He got good on the 2, and we could be heel here in about 2 minutes, folks. That, you know, sometimes just doing something like that, executing what you planned to do, can snap you out of your doldrums. And he hit that 2 ball with just a crisper stroke than he's hit his last half a dozen shots. And this is essentially routine for him. And if he manages to get good on the 6 ball, he's going to be just fine.
The Tay room, across from the AZ room. That's about halfway down the 9 long, take a left.
That's not hard enough. Yes, it is.
Right by Joe Blackburn, where you go down make a left down that hallway.
He can't tell from here if he can miss the 7. If he hits it soft, I think he can miss the 7. And by doing that, he missed the 6. Can you believe that? Well, folks, if you've watched Corey Deuel play pool in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, you know that you're seeing something pretty unusual here. A player of his caliber just does not make the kind of mistakes that we've seen here. And I'm not trying to belittle his play whatsoever. Corey's a world-class player, a world champion level player. And it just goes to show that even the top can have difficulty executing. Well, this is the match ball right here. If Dennis makes the 7, he's going to win the match. There's nowhere he can get bad on the 8. The 9's hanging right in front of the side pocket. I think he's just going to punch it to the right-hand rail, and then he can shoot the 8 in the side or the corner. Okay. And Corey Deuel, who was ahead 5-2 and running out, is going to lose 5 consecutive games and the match. Not much of a handshake there, but I'm sure Corey's pretty disappointed in his play, and we've all been there. We've all been there. But sometimes